Hey, best friend.
Hold on a second.
I got everything in there. That's the pond we were looking at last night, the pond thing. You're not gonna be able to see into it. It's wispy water, or whatever that means. We're awake. Today is a day, it's Monday. So we did the mounds yesterday, the earth mounds. Today, we're gonna try to make it to West Virginia. We're gonna stop a little bit in Kentucky, but we're gonna make it to West Virginia. It just seems like that's where there's gonna be some of the most beautifully visual things or whatnot. Yeah, hopefully this goes smoothly. This is amazing chocolate.
I don't know. I don't know if you can see it. But
Yep. Take time to smell your chocolate too.
it's so good. We just found it at, what is it called? Fresh Market, or did we get it at Whole Foods? I don't
No, it was a
remember.
fresh market thing.
Yeah, delicious.
Holy
It's got
smoke.
bacon in it. You can't do bad with some dark chocolate and bacon bits.
Which is
Anyhow.
not like the potato salad the other day. You don't want to put chocolate in your potato salad.
No,
but
I don't think
bacon-
that's a good idea.
Bacon's like holding hands across America that they did back in '85. It links everything. Oh, look, another dead raccoon.
Right on. All right.
We're into Kentucky.
Yep.
It's pretty exciting. So, hang on, it's gonna get weird.
Yep.
Okay,
So we're crossing over,
I can feel the buckskins forming on my legs.
crossing over a body of water.
It's a large body of water too.
Yeah. It's not saying on the map if it's like the Mississippi or something.
It's a big river.
We are in Kentucky.
We're in Kentucky. So, does everybody feel different? I feel different. All right. Good talks. We're in Kentucky, and we're on a regenerative road trip. I'm going to bring up something you may not have heard of, and it's called the Prime Act. The Prime Act is legislation that's been put forward by two politicians out of Kentucky, which would be Thomas Massie, he's the creator, and Justin Amash. Now, both of these guys are what I would consider true patriots. They're really two of the only politicians I can stand. I like them. What they believe and what they're doing with this act is to sidestep the gigantic overreach that has become the government. Now, if you've read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, and it has to do with the meat processing industry in the 20s and 30s, it shouldn't surprise anyone, but it does, and it's taught in a way it's meant to surprise you, at how gross and dirty the meat industry was back then. Now remember, that's the same period of time we're talking about Typhoid Mary. You know, people didn't quite understand how gross bacteria and germs were.
Or where they came from.
Right. So even gentlemen surgeons wouldn't even wash their hands because gentlemen's hands couldn't be dirty. So they'd go from working on a cadaver and go deliver a baby, and mortality would go through the roof. So basically, what happened was in the trying to point out all the flaws. That's a heck of a bridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holy smoke. Trying to point out all the flaws with the meat industry, we threw the baby out with the bathwater in a way. Now, maybe at the time we really needed the government to step in and regulate how food is processed, but it's gone past that point. We learned years ago, it was discussed this weekend, it's been discussed over and over again, that USDA meat processing facilities,
Disgusting.
they're like some of the grossest places on earth. But people don't know that. They really don't understand it. There's a lot of processing of animals that is done traditionally on farmsteads, on homesteads. It's done in state facilities that are not USDA. And a lot of these places and practices are cleaner, healthier, and better managed than any USDA facility. And the USDA facilities are overrun, they're overworked, they're crammed and crowded and bad. Everything that's wrong with meat is bad. So what Massie and Amash wanted to do, well, Massie and Amash basically want to cut out the middleman. And of course, the middleman is the United States government. People, for whatever reason, I've never figured this out, freak out with stuff that doesn't involve the government. The government, any of us who've dealt with the government in any capacity know the government can't not wipe its butt without getting everywhere. It can't do it. And yet, for some reason, these people who will tell you, yeah, you're right, the government does screw everything up. They can't do roads right, they can't do healthcare right, but let's trust the government more. It doesn't make any sense, guys.
No.
So, when you're in a business, your goal is to always make more money and to do better. If you're running a meat packing facility or a processing facility and you're not clean and you don't have an insanely good track record, especially if you're not USDA, you're gonna fail real fast.
Yeah.
And as far as the dirtiness of meat goes, and this is an important thing to remember, Joel Salatin brings this up, is that it's not illegal for you to buy meat that wasn't processed at a USDA facility. It's only illegal for me to sell it that way, which means that it's not dangerous like drugs. It's just that they want to control over the process. They want the money. So basically what the Prime Act would do, it would allow the consumer to purchase from a distributor or directly from the farm themselves inside of their own state. So let's say we actually luck out and we find a place where we can farm, and we start a farm and we do chickens. Instead of paying money to, or let's say we do pigs. Pigs are a good example. Let's say we do pasture-raised pigs, and we're doing great. The problem is that it eats up a lot of our profit to send them to the USDA facility, and we know that they don't get good care there. No offense to the USDA, but they don't. Instead, that animal was much happier before we stuck it on a truck and shipped it an hour away. It was much happier just sitting in the field it was in. If that animal has a choice of where it wants to go, it doesn't want to find out about the truck. It doesn't want to find out at the 24 to 48 hours without food. It doesn't want to have those experiences. It wants to wander into a pasture and thinks everything's good, and then all of a sudden its lights are out. And that's the way it should be.
Right.
That's what we believe in. The Prime Act would help that situation. It would also help with this insane food system that's not sustainable.
Right. Like all those months at the beginning of the pandemic that people were not able to get meat easily not because it wasn't available. And this is the thing that makes me insane. It's that all the big meat packing plants got shut down because they had infections. So all of the so the only people that were left to butcher the meat were these small USDA plants that were, near us. You've got Blood Farm.
Great plant.
Which is awesome. But now they're booked up for 2 years. Yeah. 2 years. Can you imagine all the animals that didn't get butchered? There's stories of entire
flocks,
herds, groups of pigs and cows just getting killed and piled up because you can't afford to continue feeding them, and there's no one to butcher them for you, and there's nowhere to put them.
So this is the key element of this, is that people may not understand this. When a cow, let's say you have a cow, you want to get them to slaughter pigs. Pigs are a good example of this. Pigs around 3 to 350 as far as weight goes, 300 to 350 pounds. That's it. That's as big as you really want them. When they get much bigger, there are certain things that'll happen. With boars, the bigger they get, the more intense the meat tastes, and not in a good way. Yep. The animal can become very tough. Again, you're feeding an animal on your reserves that is now it costs you money to feed it.
Right.
After a few months, you're no longer making money on the animal, you're losing money on the animal. And then at a certain point, now you've lost money on the animal, you don't have money to get more animals, and it's time to start with a new group of animals, and now you're in trouble. So what was happening is that a lot of these operations it's a continuous thing. Like, we've got 24 pigs ready to process. In 6 months we'll have 24 pigs. That's a small farm, right? Well, what happens if the pigs that were meant to go to the processor don't go? Now you have 24 pigs, and the other ones are catching up. They've got to eat.
They have to.
You got a traffic jam.
Yeah.
And so instead of processing these animals and getting food to people, the farmers are left with these decisions where it's like, okay, I got to go in my field now and kill 50 pigs, 200. We actually heard of one facility that was like 1,000 head of hogs. They just went out.
Such a waste.
That's it. Slaughter them, bury them in a big pile.
And then it's a tax write-off.
It's a tax write-off. It's environmental damage on a level I can't possibly explain. It takes too long for that many bodies to break down. The ground is now toxic. These food systems, because people want things shipped to them and they want to be able to pick, I'm just going to get a steak. I'm just going to get pork chops. I don't eat chicharrones. I don't eat any of that stuff. Because you want to do this type of stuff, I want strawberries in the middle of January. You're forcing a system that actually does a lot of damage. With the Prime Act, we sidestep all this. So I've got 1,000 pigs. I'm in an operation in Mass for some reason, and I usually ship my pigs out. The pandemic hits like it did this spring. The meat industry shut down. I can't sell over state lines, but I can sell within the state.
You can direct sell to restaurants and individuals and supermarkets, depending. And now you're not wasting your pigs, and people are getting fed with good quality food that's reasonably priced, that's local, that is not taking away from the land, that is giving back to the land.
What about charitable? How about this? If I'm a small farm, every fall I'm sending 50 pigs to slaughter. Again, I can't sell them over state lines. Without the Prime Act, the best I could do is sell them. I could sell them, and you'd have to butcher your own pig because I can't do it for you. If the Prime Act is put through and I have a commercial kitchen and I have a way to process this, I can go, hey, wait a minute. This year we were only going to send 10 pigs out. We can't do it, but I can still process them on site. I can sell them from my farm, or if it's real hard times and we've got the wherewithal to do it, instead of, slaughtering my pigs and taking a tax write-off, and that helps me financially kind of, but I'm still not able to do anything with this stuff. What if I could slaughter those pigs because I can't afford to feed them, but I want to charitably just donate those 10 pigs to other people?
Right.
If the Prime Act goes through, I can do that.
But right now you can't.
Right now you can't. So it's loud in here right now, and the reason it's loud is we think our AC just exploded. We pulled off in Kentucky to use the bathroom, and I thought I saw smoke coming from another vehicle, but it might have been ours. Our AC unit might have just blown up. I'm not too sure, but all of a sudden it stopped producing cool air, so this could end up being a very loud rest of the journey. We got off the highway. We've dealt with the lack of AC now for over 20 miles. It's not that hot out, but it's not that comfortable to have the windows open and blaring the wind past our ears at 70 plus miles an hour. T has done some troubleshooting. She looked and took the initiative, looked in the owner's manual, then she went online. So we've got a few options. I don't think it's the filter, because we just had our friend go through and do everything with the car. So I would think he would have noticed the filter. I could be wrong, but I would think. And I would think that if it's the filter, it wouldn't just cut out immediately. I think it's more probable that either an intake is jammed, T had brought that up, or there's a chip that regulates when
there's a fuse. It's a fuse. Yeah.
That regulates when it kicks in and if that fuse has popped, then it wouldn't go on. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to an auto parts store and see what we can manage, you know. And if T's right and it's the fuse, then this could be an easy fix. However, sometimes there's one on each side. We'll go here. If it's one of the other things, though, it could be that the AC actually did blow up, and I was seeing Freon leak out and not smoke or something. So we're at a position where we can't get to the fuses necessarily because they don't make the fuses easy to get to. Our friend sent us a video on how to get to the fuses, and honestly, neither of us are car people. And you wonder where we have our limits. Well, I'll tell you right now, that's one of our limits. We can't do it. I'm not touching anything that would compromise my ability to get where I'm going.
Yep.
So the other thing too is that it could be a fuse, but it's just as likely that the compressor exploded. And if I'm being honest, when I pulled off the road at the last stop to get gas and saw a burst of something, I thought it was coming out of the hood, and then I wasn't sure. That was probably the compressor exploding. So thankfully it's fall, but for the rest of this trip, for 5 hours a day at least, we're gonna be driving with probably the damn windows open, which is gonna be the loudest thing. So we're gonna probably stop somewhere and get ear plugs or something.
They're in my bag.
Yeah, we're not.
Like literally, they're in my backpack.
Then we're gonna grab those because I can't deal with this noise. She can't deal with it. It's too much. So, yeah, I know everybody's got their own thing. It's the buffeting noise. I'll throw up before I get too far. I can't stand it. I hate it. Yeah. Life happens. It happens. At least we had the AC in Missouri. I'm proud of T. T actually took initiative. She always does. She took initiative on this. I'm not a car person. She's not a car person. But she actually successfully removed the filter on the passenger side. Anybody can do it. Yeah, well, I never have done it, and she did it, and she put it back successfully, so thumbs up to her. We found the exchange, so that was good. Again, her. We found the fuse box. We were able to get a look at the fuse box. The reality, though, is that I just don't fit, and I don't know what I'm looking at.
You're like, to get the fuses, the reason why I'm not going to deal with the fuse box is that you're literally back on the floor under the steering wheel.
Your head's way down near the gas pedals.
Over like
your shoulder up into a little crevice that is really hard to access. And I don't want to try and open it and knock something out or break something or disconnect something. I'm not really that interested. What I loved about cars when I was growing up is that all the cars I had, most of them were old, and they had so much room under the hood and whatnot, you could get to everything. If you needed to do something. With a lot of your modern cars, you can't get to anything, and most people don't work on them, so they don't care. Honestly, like if I were to design a car, tell us how you do something you can't do, Jay. I'm just saying I would make the fuses accessible. Well, why would we care? We're looking about aesthetics. Nobody works in their car. My point exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to be a long, warm drive.
4 more hours.
Good shot. Good try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are now in West Virginia. We stopped again in Kentucky. Can you believe that everywhere we've stopped, nobody had his earplugs? I know that places in the middle of Massachusetts, where hunting isn't even that popular, they sell earplugs. But randomly at gas stations. Out here, nope, no earplugs. They'll sell all sorts of stuff, but not earplugs. I can't figure it out. It's weird. West Virginia. It's a hybrid. It's like the breaks in Missouri, so Hobbiton, but Hobbiton crossed with New Hampshire's mountains, but not as impressive as New Hampshire's mountains. There are some things you shouldn't admit on video. I'm going to break that rule right now. If you see the vehicle way up ahead of us, that vehicle got on about 1.5 miles ago and is pulling away from us as we speak. The reason why that's relevant is two-part. Number one, at the moment, if I had to estimate, that vehicle is going 95 miles an hour. I know this because I'm not far behind. How about that? At the same time, this vehicle in front of us has a license plate that says farm use only. And then on the back of the truck, they have spray painted farm use. So the fact that this vehicle is now going over 100 miles an hour, it is leaving us behind like we are in the dust, and let me tell you, we are not going slow. That is a different reality. This is West Virginia. Everyone in West Virginia drives like they are qualifying for NASCAR. I am not kidding you.
Not even a little bit.
Today, just driving from Indiana to where we're going to stop tonight is literally the fastest sustained speed I have ever driven for a long distance. And I'm not going to tell you how fast I've been going, but let me tell you, I've been white-knuckling it on roads that really are not that drastic. And I can't keep up with people. I can't do it. People pass me. The reason why I'm talking about this is the speed limit here is 70 miles an hour. It has been 70 miles an hour with very few exceptions for most of the drive.
Oh, yeah.
And I will tell you right now that on average, the flow of traffic is between 80 and 90 miles an hour sustained. To the point where I just can't keep up. Like, I don't feel comfortable driving that fast. I just can't do it. Like, and I'm a lead foot. Like, most, ask her. Like, when we drive in Mass in New England,
all the time.
65 means 80. Never in my life have I seen people pass me. I had a dude pass me in an RV. No joke, 95 miles an hour. Like, minimal. He passed me like I was standing still and I was doing, let's say I was going fast. I was going over the speed limit. How about that?
Yeah.
Holy smoke. So I just time-lapsed the check-in video, so that doesn't make sense. We're here, very fast driving, stressful day. You're gonna get in the room. We're already checked in. We just gotta bring our stuff up.
Yeah.
Yay. So we were supposed to be up at the hotel room, but we decided we'd go out to get a few things. And of course, there are no stores nearby, with the exception of one. So we never, ever go into Walmart, but we are going to go into a Walmart, and not just any Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
We're going into Walmart where?
West Virginia.
All right, listen here, Walmart people. Don't let me down, okay? I want to see some weird things going on. Walmart, when it came into Plymouth in the southeastern part of Mass, was weird. This is West Virginia. You people better have your A game.
Extra weird.
Oh my God. If I don't see at least one mother-son couple out on the first date, then I'm gonna be pissed. And I'm not saying that because it's West Virginia. I'm saying that because it's Walmart. Although the fact that it's in West Virginia makes that wildly more likely, but whatever. That's not nice.
Oh, goodness.
Those poor people of West Virginia. It's line breeding. It's not inbreeding. Come on.
Right.
What?
Right?
Okay. It's not even a super Walmart. It's like...
It's kind of just a mediocre Walmart.
It's a
so hopefully they have something.
Did you just call it the mediocre Walmart?
Yeah,
We're gonna kill.
Okay. Oh, that's not a good sound.
Oh, that's directly related to our turning radius.
Yay! That's exciting.
Yep.